Greetings everybody and welcome to another video. Today we're going to be getting down to the nuts and bolts of today's update, and good for you if you saw what I did there. Alright, do we start the video with a humble brag? It might be worth talking about a humble brag because, hey, guess what? It's almost never that I get to say this. I got the new VC, which is really good because the data is not up on Wotv yet, so I can actually check out and show off the Esper for once. I also want to just show this really cool artwork. And I would like to note one more thing. This is an Esper that actually does have a CG animation. I think we have to go over here. You can see a preview of it, which is pretty cool. We haven't seen a CG animated Esper in a while. And for anybody who said, it's a water Esper, there you go. It actually is an ice Esper. Good job all around. So starting off with the vision card, 18% agility on this VC, critical damage up by 20, and for maxing out the VC you get a 50% magic bonus. There is a reaction block of 24 and a human killer of 15. Not only that, but down here for maxing out the VC you also get ice ability up by 2 and critical damage up by 2 if you are lucky enough to get the VC fully maxed out. It is, of course, a holo VC, so you are not able to use stars on it. A little bit unfortunate, but I'd like to point out this. See, only step 1. I'm not lying. And yeah, there's still... I still got Visior. It's a miracle. Anyway, jumping over, let's take a look at the Esper, which I haven't chosen what abilities I want yet on it, but it is a 1242 HP, 45 TP, 40 AP, 80 dexterity, 120 magic, so it is a magic Esper, and it's 17 agility. Not the fastest Esper out there, but it is pretty good overall. I think it's pretty good little Esper, and yeah, its identity is basically a magic ice slasher. So we have magic over here going into ice attack up by a good percentage, wind killer, slashing attack up, critical chance. Down here we have critical avoidance leading into the bottom, which is I do believe it's like AoE attack resistance. I want to double check this. I remember looking at it earlier, but there's a lot of stuff. Oh no, it's area attack resistance penetration by 20, which is pretty interesting. Gilgamesh is an AoE attacker for some of his big attacks, so that's pretty nice. And theoretically, I mean, yeah, it is magic based, but it would actually be an okay Esper for other characters too, that are outside the ice element. It's nice to see a magic flash based Esper that could be used on multiple characters. We have accuracy up and critical damage up here, and then we just have some killers. Esper attack up, to which the Esper attack can cause frostbite, which is pretty nice. But yeah, it seems like a pretty good Esper overall, and you know, CG animations are quite rare. So also, if you'd like to see what the 3D model looks like, it needs a driver apparently, but there's some work put into this, and I mean, like, yes, the design, we could say that it is based on some Greek. It could be based on just some other things. And I don't think it's unfair to say that it's probably also related to like FF bosses. There's of course the FF7 boss. That was a single horse on the chariot as opposed to 2, and it did have a rider. So this is quite different and unique, and I'm all for this kind of stuff. So cool beans, shout outs to it. You know, the CG animations are cool. Even if we don't always watch them, it's nice to see a new one every once in a while. All right, next up, let's jump over into here and into this for our next update, which is two pieces of equipment, the katana and the fist. And I actually I haven't cleared it because I'm lazy. But let's take a look at what we have. So the fist, first of all, originally at 0, gives physical and magical damage up by 10% for 3 turns when HP is below 50%, strike tracking 20, reaction prevention rate by 30, and dragon killer by 30. Now, The physical or magical damage increase for 3 turns when HP is below 70% by 15. So it actually got increased by 5%. And the barrier for using it is actually much easier now, which is overall generally pretty good. It also gives healing power up of 15. So that's actually really, really good. I think that it's quite reasonable to run this. I mean, you are getting some extra stuff, and given that certain characters can heal off of certain attacks, it's probably better than you consider it to be. So yeah, Fist, really good. As for the Katana, gives agility up of 10% when HP is below 80%, human resistance at 5, and critical up by 20. All of that has stayed the same, except now HP recovery is up by 10% on critical hit, which... So the HP recovery, you're not getting healing directly off of it. Hold on, looks like human resistance went up by 10. Critical rate stayed the same, but HP recovery plus 10% on critical hit. I mean, this is probably based on certain new characters being able to restore HP off of their hits. Like, for instance, Gilgamesh, even though he uses swords, could use this, even though it's not the right character. But it's kind of interesting. I don't know, Fist still seems generally better because Fist has less better options, and Sephiroth's equipment is probably still better for him than this Katana, but there you go. Alright, so with that out of the way, let's jump over and look at some character upgrades. Starting off with a character that I don't have. Thankfully, JP was nice enough to run one of these, to which I don't think it's a good deal. I think it's rather unimpressive, but let's talk about Renan first. And check it out, we can even see his original limit burst. It now has gotten a range enhancement by 1 extra spot. It used to just be like this, but it can go 1 further now, which is fine. Also reduces damage taken the wider the target's attack range is removed. So that's good news. It means that this BAOE can get through those kind of prevention style effects. Seals barrier destruction for 3 turns, has a chance of rendering the enemy unable to operate for 3 turns because of confusion. So that's pretty curious. It's a big increase towards this limit burst. I don't know if Renan is actually durable enough to get this limit burst off, but he definitely has the AP. The range increase does help it, and confusion is, at the very least, an interesting thing that could be a tide turner sometimes, or at least give you enough time. Renan's not super omnipresent in any point in Wotv's history. But, I mean, some people might be curious to try this guy out, and I think that maybe you can scam some wins off of him every so often. Either way, definitely want to put some other characters on the team that have barrier prevention, like barrier removal, who rely on barriers. That's what I'm trying to get. Wolf. Alright, next up is original Astrius, who unironically is going to be looking a little bit more like Thunder Astrius by the time we're talking about it. So first off, AP consumption has been reduced for this limit burst, so it's cheaper than it was originally. Range has also been enhanced. Judging by it, it looks like it's 1 or 2 squares on the screen I'm looking at, because it's tiny. Other things, gives a chance of a poison effect that gradually reduces HP after greatly reducing target slashing attack resistance for 3 turns. Also gives a CT up medium. Again, not terrible at all. Astrius' limit burst was one of the strongest parts of him. Better range, lower cost, poison status effect, which is pretty interesting, and greatly reducing slashing attack resistance, while also CT up isn't terrible. I'm curious to see. This might be one that I take the plunge on to test it out later, but at least on paper, it has me interested. All right, we actually can't do the next 2, so we have to jump over into here, go into our water element, and we will be talking about one of my favorite characters. Brain's limit burst has gotten a improvement. So now the range is the same. Increased zone attack for 3 turns is the same. Reduces a certain percentage of single target resistance for 3 turns. Doesn't say greatly, so it is, removing some single target, which, okay, she has some AoEs and some single target, seems fine. Might be good with other characters. Then deals 3 consecutive damage. Extra large now, so it's gotten a... Oh, wait, sorry, I'm reading the wrong character. That was a preview for the next one. My bad. Okay, AP consumption down. First off, so just pretend that was... it's staying in. So AP consumption down for casting this limit burst. Range is the same. After increasing your own healing power for 3 turns, deal 3 consecutive damages. That kind of synergizes with the Fist. Extra large damage, so as damage increased. Haste effect that makes your CT speed is the same for 3 turns. And greatly increases HP limit and recovers HP by the amount increased. I'm never super convinced about these because usually that HP limit, upper limit increase is underwhelming a lot of the time. But don't make any mistake, I will be testing this probably in a video really soon. As a matter of fact, here you go. The promise has been made because Preen is one of my favorite characters. Favorite designs, favorite characters. Let's do it. All right, and the last one is the character I can't show. It is Rurugia, who is a little bit of an underperformer, but we'll see. Increases own attack for 3 turns is the same. This is the one I was reading slightly earlier. Reduces certain percentage of single target resistance, so that's pretty good. That synergizes with you are the new Mont in the Earth element. Extra large damage now. Applies an effect that reduces physical damage for 3 turns. Deals all enhancement removal. And his AP recovery has moved up to medium. That's a big boost for Rurugia in all honesty, because he can get range increases, if I remember correctly. But, I mean, his limit burst has generally good range. He synergizes with a very strong character. He's getting a damage increase on this. Applies an effect that, keeps his physical damage lower that he takes. And sealing all enhancement removal is kind of interesting too, since that's something dispel effects do exist in the current meta. So I have to say Rurugia might have gotten my most interesting limit bursts, but overall this is a solid batch of limit bursts for a bunch of characters that are out, but maybe not completely out yet. I'm pretty happy with all of these. If I have to pick a winner, I think it's Rurugia, just because he synergizes the strongest with one of the most powerful characters. There's a case to be made for Astrius and Mont, because they're both slashing characters. Preen, Astrius with Joom. I mean, there's a bunch of different stuff here. And Renan, even maybe with Sephiroth, could be interesting. But for now, that is that. And the last thing we are going to quickly do before the end of this video, because the next video I'm going to be talking about it in more depth, is let's just go into any mission and show off our new character. And then we'll talk about earning the resources. Get him. So Fire Veritas is here. I would love to show him off in greater aspect in terms of his model and design, but unfortunately it's going to be a little while. So taking a look, let's take a look in a fire-based party. For comparison, let's just show off against Sephiroth, reminding that this character does not have TMR's runes equipped. He does not have a 140 yet, and he does not have his limit burst yet. All of those will be coming in the future. But in this party, Sephiroth, almost 17k HP, 2000 attack, 68 accuracy, defense, and spirit are there, 37 and 10, and 115. Also, just for the sake of it, damage resistance, as well as elemental resistance. Now let's jump over to this guy. 11k HP, 1871 attack, defense 14, spirit 2, 14 accuracy, 44 evasion, 104 attack, 3 move, 1 jump, more single target resistance, and less AoE resistance. I don't imagine that his dream enhancement or anything, or his reincarnations are going to push him as high as Sephiroth, but he does seem pretty good, at least upon initial take. When you look at, even Soul, who has 12k HP, but is, has all of that, some of that extra stuff there, he's pretty generally good, at least from initial. High HP, high attack, 104 speed means that he's not slow, although we do have the Hermes sandals pulling a little bit of the weight here. In terms of damage resistance, pretty good against spear and slash, which is something that you might generally want. Strike is actually decent. Shooting is resistant, and magic is his one big kind of weakness. Doesn't really have any elemental. Good against stop, immobilize, and even a little bit of blindness and frostbite. It's interesting. So yeah, I will show off more about this character in the near future when we show off, talk about all of this. But I do want to do a few more checks before I read too much into the data. So let's talk about coin, shall we? The resource, because a few people have been confused about me talking about PvP is where you get this guy's coins. So Win Veritas is just based on that, and reliquaries. His weapon has been added. I've not looked at it yet. It is considerably expensive, so 1 second. Data's not up on Wotv Calc yet. I'm really curious whether you need to spend how you do this. I assume it's just one and done, but okay. Water Veritas comes from Arena. So specifically your Arena, you can get 5 coins per day and so many coins per week depending on your placement. Earth Veritas is dependent on how many wins you get in guild battle. So let me reiterate so far. Story and reliquaries, Arena, guild battle. Fire Veritas is PvP, with 120 needing to unlock the character initially, 1 coin per shard, which thank goodness, and over here, 1 per special orb. Now when I say PvP, I actually mean this section right here, where you are going up against actual other people. Currently, there is a limited coming up for JP in the near future. Right now, the way that you earn actual PvP coins is by, doing this, right? But from what I can tell, at least on JP right now, let me just double check before I say a faux pas. Yeah, even though Fire Veritas is in the game, the Arena, or the PvP has not started spitting out coins yet. If you were wondering about that, I already tried a match today, and what I essentially thought was nothing, no coins, no anything. I'll even show in my history here. You can see that nothing. So yeah, it just didn't work yet. But he is in the game. So next time we'll take a look and demonstration at the character, and that's all for now. Thanks so much for watching. See you later.